Perceptual Shift Show. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Welcome back to the Perceptual Shift Show again. My name is James Quine, and this is my brother
Robbie. I'm a perceptual shifter
and a life lover.
And I can prove it right here.
There we go.
Because I even drink the life-loving.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for me to get some of my cinnamon tea here. A nice sip before we get started.
My special perceptual shift beverage.
Yes, and this is our 6th episode. If you didn't get a chance to see our last one with Haley, it was amazing.
God. Mind
she
blow.
rocks, so you might want to check that one out if you haven't seen it yet.
You'll laugh and you'll cry. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. Actually, I got to give her that's for you, Haley.
All right. And as a reminder to anybody who hasn't tuned in before, this podcast is all about loving your life and manifesting abundance.
That's right.
We read out of the Perceptual Shift.
Yep.
How to love your life and manifest abundance that I wrote with the help from my brother Robbie. And we go through the book. We read a page. We talk about the page.
And help from Kona, too.
Yeah, our dog. Well, they can't see Kona.
Right.
But yeah, I adopted a blind dog, and she's the sweetest thing in the world.
Yep.
At some point, we'll bring her on the show.
Yeah. And she's actually the executive producer of the Perceptual Shift.
Nice, dude. Okay. And there's also some questions on each page, and we'll be answering those questions with you. So we're grateful to have you here. Thanks for joining. If it's your first time, welcome. If you've seen the other shows, we're glad that you came back. Keep in mind that you can always subscribe to this show, and that way you'll get notifications if you like it. You can you can follow. If you want the book, if you decide that you want the book, you can go to Amazon.com and get the book there, the Kindle. If you want a signed copy, you can hit me up in the comments or DM me on Instagram or TikTok at James M, like Michael, Quine, Quine. And I'll be happy to get you a signed copy. So let's get into it. Are you ready?
Let's dive on in.
All right, here we go.
Okay. Welcome to the Shift Show. Get ready for the mind flow. You're gonna see the world in a brand new way. Yeah. Show you how to love life. Eliminate your strife. You'll manifest all that you desire. The Perceptual Shift Show. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
All right, let's get into the show.
All right, I'm shifted.
All right.
With reckless abandon.
You ready to shift?
I am so ready to shift.
Here it comes. We're on page 6. I mean, it makes sense because we're episode 6, so we're page 6.
That's right. It's got they're deep topics, and sometimes they take time.
Yeah. Perception shapes emotion. So, I mean, even before we get into this page, think about it for a second. How you perceive things will affect the way you feel about them.
Absolutely. Hugely.
When we talk about emotions, we talk about feelings.
Sure.
And we have a lot of feelings, right?
Tons.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm excited.
Okay.
I enjoy doing this. I'm very passionate about having a happier life and a healthier life.
I noticed you're wearing a new shirt.
I got a stylish shirt. Very fabulous. I like the white. It kind of like the purity of the soul. It's got that little vibe going on.
I like this kind of
like
felt shirt that I have.
Glitter monk or something.
Yeah, I like this felt shirt that I have.
Yeah, you look pretty fabulous.
It is a little rough on my skin.
Is it?
And I'm a softie. I like soft
We got the yin and the yang thing with the black and the white.
Yeah, that's
like,
okay.
I'm day,
the whole
you're night.
spectrum.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, perception.
The alpha and the omega.
Exactly. Ooh.
It's getting heavy.
And ivory. Okay. Perception shapes emotion. Consider this scenario. You're walking down the street and a friend passes by without acknowledging you.
Ooh.
Very sad. If your perception leans towards insecurity, you might interpret their behavior as intentional avoidance.
Right.
Leading to feelings of hurt or anger.
Sure.
It might even send you into self-pity.
Ooh, flick that off. Yeah, you got dissed. Is that what's happening?
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it feels like that.
However, there might be more to the story than you know. But if you view the situation with compassion, you might assume that they were simply preoccupied or distracted. Maybe they were looking at their phone.
That's right.
They didn't even see you.
Yeah, and can we knock off being overly sensitive?
Yeah,
Come on.
why do we need to interpret it as though they hate us?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so dramatic.
And you'll spare yourself unnecessary emotional distress.
Thank you.
So, thank you. This first, can I get a side one? I like the side ones.
I know, I kind of overdoing
You
the
always
center.
do the center one.
I know.
Okay.
It kind of gets stale after a while.
Right. And so this emotional distress that we go through, that we put ourselves through, why did that guy, swerve into me while I was driving? Why did they say it in that tone? Why aren't they nicer? Is there something wrong with me? Do people not love me? Is my boss upset with me? All of this stuff actually creates your reality.
Right.
So if I'm upset because somebody passed me by and didn't notice me, did I happen to say, hey, what's up, dude?
Right.
Did I go over and say, oh, great to see you,
Did you throw him a
Marjorie?
shaka?
Did I run in front of him and go, stop, it's good to see you?
Right.
What's my part in this?
Sure.
Did I wave and they didn't see me and now I
Right.
feel really bad?
Right.
How's it going to be right? It's so sad.
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary sadness.
Right. Which
And-
is
yeah.
totally a buzzkill.
And it can lead to resentment.
Quickly.
And it can destroy a relationship because meanwhile,
Oh my God.
if they didn't see us,
Yeah.
and now we're passive aggressive.
Right.
Yeah, no fun. So
Wow.
this page is about reshaping the way we see things.
Right.
So I'm going to keep reading. This example highlights how perception directly shapes our emotional responses to life, right?
Yes.
Didn't say to life, but I added that in. I don't know, who wrote this. They should have wrote it with to life, but I wrote it. That's right. Hi, Kona. You want to come up here? Come on. You want to come up?
She's ready
Are you
to
a little scared?
shift. She wants to
It's
shift.
okay.
I
She's
can
a little
see
scared. Come on.
I can
You
feel
can
it.
come up. Come on. You can do it. It's not too scary. Come on, Kona. Get up on the couch. Okay, she's too scared. All right. You won't be meeting Kona today.
She has to go at her own pace.
Unfortunately. Bye, Kona. All right. So this example highlights how perception directly shapes our emotional responses. By consciously shifting how we interpret events, we can transform our inner emotional landscape. And let's just talk about that for a second. What do you think I meant when I said consciously shifting how we interpret? Consciously. What does that mean to you?
To me, that means making a decision and kind of, I'm all in with this decision. It's not sort of a half-ass thing. It's like, I want to shift. And I'm going to have gratitude, and I'm going to, use whatever I have in my toolkit to get into a different, more loving place with this whole thing. And loving, I mean, towards myself.
Right.
Because it's not loving to walk around with resentment and hurt and all this drama.
Right, it starts with ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, if we want to be loving towards others.
It's a self-care kind of thing.
It's
Like starts a lot of times for me taking a breath and exhaling some of that tension and anxiety and surrendering it. And it's just like, well, maybe I'm being a little overly sensitive here.
Do you believe, this is a leading question, because
Okay.
you're going to know what I think by asking this question, but do you believe, Robbie, that a lot of people, including us, sometimes and maybe more so in the past, live unconsciously?
Yes.
Doing things
On autopilot,
and thinking things
for sure.
and behaving and
Yes.
having attitudes
Old
we're not even
patterns.
aware of.
Right.
Yeah. And it's what is it, the sleepwalking or something
Yeah,
like that?
sleepwalking. It's like kind of a tin soldier thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we're unconscious, some people can use that word ignorant, meaning not as a negative as much as we don't know that we're unconsciously doing this.
Sure.
Almost
like an old habit.
One of my two ex-wives said to me, your facial expressions are so loud that I can't even hear what you're saying. And what she meant by that was that I was saying, yes, I'm fine, but I had a growly face.
Or
right?
she caught you doing an eye roll or something.
She caught me doing an eye roll, like anything you want.
You got to be careful. Yeah, right.
Whatever you want, I'll do it.
Yeah, exactly.
A very facetious kind of sarcastic,
Sure.
Almost demeaning
kind
thing.
of a little bit bitchy too.
Yeah, and so if your facial expressions aren't matching your words,
right.
then you're living out of sync, and oftentimes we're unconsciously doing that. And particularly my experience is women are very attuned to that difference, very attuned to noticing that. Was that in tune? Yeah, that was in tune. Okay. So, my two relationships, my two marriages, I was with my first wife for 9 years, my second for 24 years. They were the greatest opportunities for growth in my life to become a better version of myself.
Oh, absolutely. And the gift of having children, too. I mean, there's a lot of fringe benefits of relationships. People, a lot of times, you talked about this, focus only on the bad. It's like that relationship brought some gifts.
I see that both relationships as incredibly successful. Amazing. I got to spend combined 33 years of my life with two incredibly beautiful, amazing, wonderful women who are also incredible mothers.
Right.
And that is an amazing gift for me.
Sure.
So just a quick shout out to Elaine and Crystal.
Right.
Thank you for making my life so much better.
Yeah. This is for the mommies.
Yeah. And thank you for the children. So to get back to the book, by consciously shifting how we interpret events, what that means to me is consciously being aware that the way that life is going at this moment, the way I'm experiencing life, the way I'm interpreting events, the way I'm reacting to the world around me, needs to shift for me to be happy. So that's the first area of consciousness that I'm thinking of when I wrote this, is that if we're not aware that a shift needs to take place, then we're the Walking Dead. We're unconscious, unaware, and ignorant that anything needs to change. The moment, if you're tuning in to this podcast, if you're listening to this podcast or watching this podcast, if the words "how to love your life and manifest abundance" resonate for you, then you've already become aware that you want to shift.
Right.
You're already conscious that you want to move in the direction of prosperity and love and happiness and joy. So that's the first part of consciousness. The second part of consciousness, by consciously shifting how we interpret events, is to become acutely aware of how we are going to shift the event, the situation. A big part of that when we're communicating with others is pausing when we get upset, right?
Sorry.
Thank you.
That deserves
Can I get
a
a
ding.
double one on that one? Two different ones?
I'm trying not to hit the same ones.
That's okay. I appreciate that. By doing that, by becoming aware that if we continue speaking, we might say something we regret or create more of a problem.
Right.
A great example is you're talking to somebody and everything's going smooth, and then you say, la, 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 whatever, and they're like, what the hell are you talking about? Now, the moment they say to me, what the hell are you talking about? My normal reaction is to feel a little bit scared.
Right.
That I just crossed a line or said something I
Sure.
shouldn't have said. A little defensive.
Yeah, maybe a little attacked.
Shamed.
Yeah.
And what happens for most of us, especially if we're not doing this daily emotional maintenance stuff, is that we react by getting angry.
Right.
Because anger is the opposite side of the coin of fear.
Right.
So if we're ever scared of something, or if we're ever, angry about something, we can usually trace it back to something that we're afraid of.
Right.
And it might be something as simple as being afraid of how people will perceive us. If somebody says, I'm sitting at a table with a bunch of people and somebody leans over and says, yeah, James is an idiot. then my fear is how I'm going to be perceived by everyone else. Am I going to be perceived as weak or letting people walk all over me?
Right.
And so my initial reaction from that fear is to get angry. It's like, excuse me? And then I create this whole thing. Whereas if I pause when agitated, if I'm conscious of what just happened, and it goes back to this other paragraph where we talk about compassion a little bit. If I'm compassionate to understand that anybody that would say that to make them look good and me look bad is clearly suffering emotionally.
Right.
Clearly not very healthy spiritually or emotionally.
And maybe not a very good friend to begin with.
Maybe not somebody I should be sitting next to.
It's a little bit mean to say you're an idiot.
It is. They're in a tough place. But what happens for me is instead of judging, I can use discernment.
Sure.
So one of my mentors that I love so much explained the difference between judgment and discernment. Judgment is where you're like actively putting the person down, judging them, and basically character assassinating them in your mind. Discernment is where you go, oh, that felt a little uncomfortable.
Right.
How do I want to respond? Maybe I'll move my chair so I'm not sitting next to them. Or it gives you an opportunity to make a healthy decision.
Sure.
Where judgment tends to make me want to say something about them. Like, well, you know, I just got to say, Peter, after hearing you say that about me, you're looking pretty fat. Or something just stupid.
You're
like
taking
that.
the bait.
Yeah, like just I take the bait and I go and run with it. So this idea of consciously shifting how we interpret events, I now interpret their statement that James is just an idiot as an indication that they are spiritually sick and emotionally unwell.
And then you can have compassion for them.
And then I can have compassion, and then I cannot respond. Here's the interesting thing I want to say too about not responding. And this goes hand in hand with detaching with love. If somebody calls you an asshole and you say, okay, and you walk out of the room, what are they left with when you leave that room? Their words.
Right.
The fact that the last thing that they get to think about is that they called you an asshole.
Right. And their bad energy that they threw out.
They're not going to be feeling great about their behavior.
Yeah, they might have an emotional hangover about that.
And there's a much higher likelihood of them seeing their egregious behavior and potentially making amends, though I'm not going to wait for that, than if I engage with them and take the bait. It's no different than a bully shouldering you at high school.
Right.
Someone at the dinner table says, oh, look at James, he's such an idiot. That's a bully move.
Right.
And I don't engage it with bullies.
Yeah, we're a little old for that.
No. I'm not interested in diving into that bin of toxic waste with that person.
Right. So you're talking about keeping your side of the street clean.
Exactly. And it can get dirty very quickly if I open
Tell
my
me
mouth.
about it, especially with anger. Yeah.
Right. So by consciously shifting how we interpret events, we can transform. So by consciously shifting how we interpret events, we can transform our inner emotional landscape. And essentially what I'm trying to do, or what I'm trying to convey and do for myself here, is that emotional landscape I'm looking for is ideally full of laughter and light.
Right.
Easy. I'm experiencing equanimity, which means that if the shit is flying and somebody puts a fan in front of it and it's blowing on my head and face and all around me, I can still be serene.
Right.
I don't need to buy into the drama.
Yeah, it's not rigid. You're kind of in the love zone a little bit.
Unless I'm at the Love Hotel. Then I'm in the drama.
Right.
Or if I'm reading a dramatic novel or watching, what were those shows you used to watch? The police dramas or the whatever? Bum. Didn't you used to watch that?
Some of the, like those murder shows?
Yeah. Like that's dramatic. Yeah, so that state of peacefulness is what I strive for. That being said, there will be moments of high emotion.
That's part of life. There's no dodging that bullet.
No. It's just, as we've stated before, that I would like to be able to minimize the amount of time that I spend in a funky place feeling upset, sad, hurt.
That's a drag, man. I
I
don't
thought I
want
was
to.
going to get a ding on you. Sad, hurt, angry.
I didn't know you had like a
selfish,
whole stack of
like
feelings.
a victim. What else is you don't want to be feeling? Give me another one. Frustrated,
Having the blues.
having the blues, lazy, opinionated, self-centered,
Negativity.
negative, self-seeking.
Right.
Yeah, or all of those feelings that just are
None of those are fun.
blue and down.
Yeah.
So if we feel them,
they're low vibration feelings.
yeah, if we feel them, we feel them. But
Right.
it's nice if
Let
we
them
can
pass.
Yeah,
don't let go or be dragged. Don't be dragging down the highway holding onto these feelings.
Exactly. So when it comes to our inner emotional landscape,
Right.
it is beholden upon us to make a decision on what we want that to look like. We're going to
Right.
paint a picture. Do we want the browns and the grays and the vomit colors?
No.
I mean, sometimes maybe a little bit of it here and there might,
It sounds a little depressing, though.
yeah, I don't want to be depressed. I want a bright,
Me too.
I
I already did the depressed painting of my
want
soul.
the purples
Yeah.
and the reds and the oranges
Sure.
and the yellows and the greens and the beautiful. I
Right.
want a beautiful landscape.
Yeah.
I want like this, like the ocean.
Right.
Something beautiful.
I
the
want like
mountains.
a big orange sunset, a tangerine sunset.
And I think one of the problems is, and this was my problem when I was young, when you're a child especially, you expect your parents and the world to paint a beautiful landscape
Right.
for you.
Yeah.
Especially when you're not capable of painting yourself.
That's a
yet.
child's world. It's natural.
Yes.
Yeah.
The problem is when we get older, if we're continually hoping someone else will paint our emotional landscape
Right.
so that is beautiful
Yeah.
all the time.
Sure.
And we never have to look at anything except this beautiful landscape.
Right.
And the moment somebody farts, our vision is ruined of our landscape and we're very, very upset.
Right.
And then we react and, jump on the pity pot. Yeah. And my brother likes to
Flick it off.
So is our emotional health, our feelings, our attitude, is that somebody else's responsibility?
No. 24/7, it's my responsibility.
But don't you think a lot of people would say that my ability to feel good and be happy is directly impacted upon by how you behave?
That's called codependency.
Right. But what if you're having a lovely day and you're going to get a taco and you arrive a little bit late and they tell you they've closed and somebody now shames you and says, ha 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 ha, you're moldy, dude. It's closed and no food for you, brah. Doesn't that affect your emotional landscape?
It does, but I don't have to react.
Okay, so they spill some of their ugly brown paint on
Right.
your beautiful,
Sure.
beautiful landscape of the ocean and the mountains.
Right.
And then what do?
I take a breath, I exhale the tension, and it's just some rednecky guy that's trying to shame me at a taco stand.
Okay, so visually, I feel the same way. If I'm spiritually centered, emotionally centered, what I'm able to do, and when I say spiritually, I don't mean religious in any
Right.
sense of the word, I mean inspirationally.
And in alignment with
Yes, if I'm connected
love.
to the universe
Yeah.
and love, then what I'm able to do is go, wow, I just painted this beautiful landscape painting. And it took me a long time to get it just where I wanted it. And you basically spit on it with
Right.
your tobacco, chewing spit
Right.
that is now essentially ruined this beautiful tree and this picture with a bird and this whole beautiful thing that I've done here on this one area of the painting. But instead of me getting into it with you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break. I'm going to say, hey, to the people at Maui Tacos, do you mind if I get a couple napkins that are wet? And they'll be like, sure. They're closed, but they'll give me that. I'll take it. I'll get the phlegm off of my painting. I'll throw it away.
Right.
I'll get in my car, head back to my house, make some food, take out some of my paints, repaint my little area.
That's right.
Make it look even more beautiful. Maybe I'm going to make the bird be one of those ones with the red, red heads, or, like something really cool.
Right.
And I'm going to use it as an opportunity to improve my landscape. And I get to be grateful that I didn't react or take the bait, that no matter how much he wanted to push my buttons, I wasn't going to let him.
Yeah, I held on to my serenity as best I could.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be anything close to perfect. Life gets messy sometimes.
It does.
But that's where taking that breath and pausing when agitated comes in.
It does.
It's very okay to take a nice long breath, or even walk outside, cool down, decompress a little bit. But when I keep my side of the street clean, I'm a life lover.
That's right. I'm going to take one of those breaths right now. Take one with me if you're listening or watching. Ready?
Yeah. Let the tension go. Let the expectation go. Let the fear go. Let the drama go. Yeah.
That's healing. Okay, so...
a recapitulation.
Yeah, and I did want to say I have a book called You Can't Make Me Angry.
Love it.
It's a great book. The title is amazing, but the idea behind it is, well, I just want to tell you a little story in the book. He has this dog named Max, and Max is blind like Kona.
Right.
And he'd take Max out for a walk, and Max would smell or hear or, get some kind of sense that another dog was around.
Right.
And Max would... and they'd go around the corner.
That was a pretty good Max imitation.
Yeah, Max would be around the corner.
Conan's going to freak out if you do.
Down the street, and they'd be a block and a half away, and Max is still going about that dog 2 blocks away.
Right.
Does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, exactly.
Has anyone listening?
Can you relate
or watching
to Max? Yeah.
Thought about something that felt uncomfortable, and continued to think about it 2 blocks down the road?
Yeah, like a recycling
2
loop.
days,
yeah.
a week down, 2 weeks, a month, a year.
Right.
Is there anyone out there listening
that
is still upset about something that somebody did years ago?
Yeah.
Right. And that's what the book is about. It's about teaching you that you can be... What is it that you say? Period? Something.
I'm responsible for my serenity. Period.
That's right.
That means 24/7, regardless of what happens.
And not only serenity, I'm responsible for my feelings.
That's right.
You may say something that may make me upset for a moment.
Yeah.
Sad, hurt, frustrated, angry for a moment. But once I feel that feeling, it's my responsibility as to whether I want to continue feeling it or let it go. Let it go. There we go. I got a ding.
Got a double ding on that one.
All right. So we are, about 10 or 20 minutes into this podcast, and we're a total of 2 paragraphs into this page. So we're really moving
like
fast.
A snail. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's
but
get
slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly. So we'll get to the 3rd paragraph now. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm bringing it on.
Bring it.
Hang on.
Exactly.
Paragraph 3.
Okay.
And this is solution, which you love.
I love it. I'm soaking it in. I'm like a sponge right here.
Practices such as mindfulness and cognitive reframing help us pause, reflect, and examine our perceptions. They empower us to respond with greater clarity, balance, and intention.
Nice.
Rather than reacting impulsively. Or falling back on outdated fight, flight, or freeze patterns.
That's right.
And just a quick note about when I was writing this book. Most of my life, when we talk about fear or whatever, I had heard the sayings fight or flight. But at some point before I wrote this book, or during writing this book, I heard somewhere that there's a 3rd part of that, and that is freeze. Like a deer in the headlights. And I believe that is also something that we do when we're in fear. Sometimes we freeze. In fact,
Right.
People sometimes stay in relationships when they're in fear because they're freezing.
Right.
They're frozen. They can't imagine how they could make it on their own or without being in this relationship.
Right. Right.
And if that's what you're doing right now, I encourage you to do some work around that.
It's like a form of checking out.
Yeah, exactly. The question really comes down to, what are the benefits of fighting? What are the benefits of running away?
Right.
What are the benefits of freezing? And what are the detriments behind it?
Right.
How does it hurt you to fight or flight or freeze? And make a list. I mean, if you have a journal,
Right.
And I haven't come out with at the time of this podcast, I hadn't come out yet with the Perceptual Shift journal, but any journal will do.
Right.
Make a list of
Sure.
the pros and cons.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're being physically abused, I highly suggest that you detach
Yes.
and put some space between that situation. Nobody deserves to be physically hurt. That being said, when it comes to emotional abuse, the danger with emotional abuse is oftentimes people do this. In other words, they put their hand to their head and they're like, oh, he scrambled my eggs and they're too hard. My socks
Egg
weren't
drama.
placed in the right exact spot.
Right.
That's emotional abuse.
Oh, Lord.
Right? So, in other words, what I'm saying is the idea of being emotionally abused in and of itself can be a manipulative, abusive thing. And,
Right.
and at the end of the day, it's more abusive to you than anyone else to abuse the language emotional abuse.
Right.
By distorting it and overreacting and
Sure.
being overly sensitive.
Yep. And dramatic.
Right. And as I said before, not taking responsibility for our emotional landscape.
Right.
We blame the other person by saying you're being abusive.
Right.
Great example. Someone comes over to hug me and I'm like, in the middle of something, I'm like, give me a minute. That may have felt abusive to the person. They were just trying to love me.
Right.
And now I'm being an abusive partner in the relationship. But in fact, it's the same as the example of the friend walking down the street that didn't notice me.
Right.
If I'm interpreting every single thing that everybody does
Right.
as an attack on me and I'm
Sure.
personalizing everything, then there isn't much in life that's not emotionally abusive to
Right.
me.
Right.
And when we do that, I doubt that I'm going to be able to play well with anybody because everybody is an enemy and I'm a victim of every single person.
Right.
and everything
That's got a little neuroticness in there.
And I heard somebody sharing recently that particularly in relationships, there's a tendency to look at the 7 things we don't like instead of the 700 things that are wonderful about the relationship.
Yeah,
of the
like
person.
let's be fair.
Right. If you make a list of the person,
Right.
and I'm not talking about, one of the 7 things is getting hit by a frying pan.
Right.
Like I said before, time to leave at that point.
Definitely.
But-
when it crosses the physical line, yeah.
But he's not folding my socks, or she's not
Sure.
making the eggs the way I like it, or whatever, that kind of stuff. I invite you to honestly write down all of the wonderful things about this other person you're in a relationship
Right.
with, all of the wonderful things they've done, all of the contributions they've made to your life. Sometimes those contributions are encouraging you to grow and look deeper in yourself.
Sure.
Or to learn how to pause when agitated. But write down all of the wonderful things first. And don't stop until you've come up with at least 25 of them.
Right.
Because if you can't come up with 25 wonderful things about another person, you're not really being honest with yourself. Everyone's got 25 things that I can celebrate about them.
And everyone's got chinks in their armor too. Like, let's be fair. The whole idea of a perfect relationship that's a fairy tale.
Yeah, even the worst person in the world has some redeeming qualities.
Yeah. And relationships are challenging. I mean,
Yes.
I think it's good to sort of be prepared for that. There's going to be some little moments here and there that happen.
Of course.
People have moods. People have feelings. People get cranky if they don't get enough sleep.
Absolutely.
You know, their blood sugar's weird. I can be a little pissy if I don't have my morning coffee.
And I always think too, like, if I want them to cut me a break,
Thank you.
am I cutting them a break? If I want them to see the good parts of me
That's
and
right.
not focus on the bad, am I looking at the good parts of them?
Yeah.
Or am I focusing on the bad?
Yeah.
And I understand that the 100th time he leaves the cupboard door open
Right,
and you hit
right.
your head on it, it's like, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
But my solution, and we're big on solutions here.
He should stop at 99 if he's smart.
Yeah. My solution is, instead of trying to control, manage, and direct him and that cupboard,
Right.
is to bring a handyman in to put an automatic spring-loaded
That's right.
hinge on that door so that whenever it opens up, it automatically closes.
Right.
That's getting into the solution.
Into the solution,
And
out of
not
the
being a
problem.
victim.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what?
And not making a mountain out of a molehill.
And if he's the most wonderful man in the world, but the cupboard thing
Right.
100 times,
Yeah.
come on, figure it out.
That's not worth ending a relationship
It is
over a
not worth
cupboard.
ending.
Yeah.
And so you make that list of all those things that you dislike
Right.
or that are a problem in the relationship, and then get somebody
Thank
who is
you.
on this journey, this adventure into emotional well-being, to look at it and honestly tell you, where are you making a mountain out of a molehill?
Right.
Where are you being overly sensitive?
And knock it off, you know?
Knock it off. And particularly, it's great to go to somebody who actually knows that other person, because
Right.
they may say, hey, you're forgetting 50 other things that are great
It's
about
not
him
fair,
or her."
yeah. 50
Yeah.
versus one annoying thing? Come on.
So, you know, we talk about this idea of staying in a place of love.
Right.
And, you know, the more we can stay in a place of love, and the more we can celebrate love, and the more we can stay in love in our relationships, the more abundance that we have in those relationships.
Definitely.
And the happier we are.
It's just a lot more fun. It's kind of sexy. Yeah. It's nice not to have a short fuse and have
You always bring that word sex in.
good
Sex-y.
good communication skills.
Yeah, yeah.
And that comes with practice, by the way.
It does.
That's kind of what we're doing here. It's like stepping back and looking at the big picture. It's, where's there room for improvement here? How can I be more loving and have good boundaries and be a good communicator and be very clear and know when to not make a big deal out. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes it's not worth creating a big confrontation over a cabinet.
Yeah. And I'm responsible, if I'm in a relationship that is an intimate relationship and I want to stay in love, I'm
Right.
responsible to stay in a loving place.
That's right.
And not expect him or her to do whatever it is I want them to do
Right.
in order for me to be loving or to stay in a loving place.
Yeah, like a cabinet Nazi is not fun to be around. So yeah. I think
No
choosing
cabinet Nazis, please.
choosing my battles, I think
Yeah.
is important.
It is. It is. And that comes back to pausing when agitated.
Thank
so
you.
that I can decide whether or not.
But I think some people can take that to extremes and be a doormat. You don't want to go there either, because obviously honoring my feelings, I think, is important. But not having a meltdown like a 3-year-old having a tantrum.
Yeah.
Come on.
And being a doormat, I have to let you know this. I was learning about this idea of being a doormat. I took it to the extreme and didn't really understand the concept when I first heard it, because I had the idea that when
it takes
somebody
practice.
tells me, ha ha, the restaurant's closed and you're not going to eat, that I was being a doormat, or
Right.
he was treating me like a doormat. But what I realized is that the only time I become a doormat is when I lay down
Right.
and I invite it in.
That's right.
As long as I'm detaching with love and stepping out of the drama,
Right.
I can't be a doorknob.
Yeah.
So that's something important I wanted to.
Did you say doorknob? You switched it to a...
I don't know. I'm a little bit tired. I've been talking for too long. So
No, it's good. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying. Now
Doorknob,
we've gone
doormat, I
we've
thought
gone
they were the same
a whole
thing.
paragraph.
yeah. Well, no. We've gone 2 and 1 sentence. Okay.
Okay.
So here's the second sentence in the third paragraph on page 6 of the Perceptual Shift book. I'll just read the first one because we got so far away. We won't understand
I know,
the context it's in if I don't read the first one. So, practices such as mindfulness and what is mindfulness exactly, by the way?
Mindfulness to me means kind of being in alignment with love and centered, grounded, in a very calm zone.
Like sort of consciousness or different?
It's consciousness, but it's not racing thoughts to me. I feel like it's a very centered, kind of aligned,
like calm,
peaceful.
Calm consciousness.
Yeah, and a very grounded place, not having a hamster wheel, worrying about all this crap, you know.
Yeah.
Being kind of having some serenity and some inner peace.
Yeah. Thich Nhat Hanh wrote a book called The Miracle of Mindfulness.
The washing the dishes thing?
Yes,
yeah.
and he talks about
Love it.
when we wash the dishes.
Right.
We don't wash the dish. We don't wash the teacup so that we can have tea. We wash the teacup, and while we're washing it, we think of how grateful we are to have the teacup, to have the warm water, to have the soap, to feel the soap, to feel the suds, to feel the water cascading over our hands, to rub it together, to have the dishwash, to dry it off, to this incredible moment of life of being a human being or being a spiritual entity inside of a human body.
Right.
And to get to enjoy the sound of the water coming down.
Right.
And the feeling and the smell of the suds
Sure.
and all of it. We just relish the experience of washing the cup.
Right. Being present, being in the moment.
Yes. So we're not in a rush.
Right.
We're home.
Take as much time washing those dishes as...
Exactly. And you can do the same thing if you're driving in traffic and you discover that there's a ton of traffic and you're going to get there late. And here's the way to do it. Here's what I do. The first thing I do if I'm going to be late is I pick up the phone and I call the person and say, looks like there's more traffic than I expected.
Yeah.
And I overestimate.
Right.
Could be as long as an extra half hour late.
So you're not all stressed out.
All of a sudden, that brings me calmness.
Right, sure.
Right? The second thing I do is I think to myself, wow.
Plus, it's considerate to the other person.
That's going to be some extra time that I can listen to a great book on tape.
That's right.
Or I can listen to a great
Perceptual
speaker
Shift
or a
podcast.
Podcast. Yeah, the Perceptual Shift podcast.
Right.
I can catch up on some of the old ones.
Which the audiobook is coming out pretty soon, right?
Yeah, and now you keep edging me up. And now I'm
wink. Yeah.
And I'm writing my second book. I'm not going to talk about that.
I'm
writing the second book.
I'm so excited.
We're doing the podcast. I'm doing the social media thing. I mean, I'm super busy, but I am getting that in.
The second book is going deeper. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
It's going to be worth waiting for.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my only hint is it might be a little bit deeper on relationships.
Ooh.
And relationship with yourself too.
Yes.
Okay. So let me get back to reading. Practices. Oh, and I want to say this others. Practices such as mindfulness, which we just spoke about, and cognitive reframing, and just a quick reminder of what cognitive reframing is. It's where you're cognitively aware that you want to reframe the way you are experiencing, interpreting, or seeing this situation, or hearing this situation. Because knowing that when you do this, you will feel more at ease and more calm and get into that place of love by reframing. So it's not just reframing, but being actively aware that you need to reframe and knowing how to reframe it.
And also like a reset.
Yeah, it's like a reset. Exactly. That's a great way of saying it. So practices such as mindfulness and cognitive reframing help us pause.
Well, I deserve a ding for that.
You wanted a ding for the...
That was loud.
Yeah, well, you hit the wood.
I know.
Be careful.
I over dinged my dong.
Okay. So practices such as mindfulness and cognitive reframing help us pause, reflect, and examine our perceptions. They give us that break, that space.
Right.
They empower us to respond with greater clarity,
right,
balance, and intention. Doesn't that sound wonderful?
Yeah, it does. It sounds very zen.
Yeah. I want to be around people that are responding with clarity, balance, and intention.
And I want to be that
Me
person.
too.
And I'm willing to do the work to do it.
Yep. Rather than reacting impulsively.
Yeah,
which
obnoxious.
we've done many times.
Yes. That's very fight or flight.
Or falling back on outdated fight, flight, or freeze patterns.
Right.
Obviously, I read this before.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
We're just going deeper. We'll go round
We're going
and
deeper.
round. Some of the book is like that. We're going to
Yeah.
revisit things over and over again.
And one of the things is I read, we both read out of a lot of daily readers, a lot of
Yes.
books that inspire us
For many, many
to
years.
feel grateful,
Yeah.
to love our lives, to be happy. And part of our morning ritual and our daily ritual is, soaking in all of this wonderful material, whether it comes on podcasts or
Right.
internet, YouTubes, or books on tape, or reading books, or attending
And meetings
events.
also.
Yeah, meetings with people that are
Yeah,
like-minded people.
sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we fill ourselves up with that stuff, we are much better prepared to handle those moments, like the person walking by us
Right.
that doesn't say hello.
Right.
So let me get right to the next part, because the next part is juicy. It's the question part.
Great.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
We finally made it.
Deep breath.
Yeah, we've gotten through a total of like 80 words, and it's only been 40 minutes or something. But they're going to edit this podcast, so it's going to be shorter for you guys. Have you recently reacted in a way that didn't align with the best version of yourself?
Yes.
Meaning not the way that you would have liked to react.
Right.
It took you out of a place of love and peace.
Yeah, it knocked me off the beam a little bit.
Exactly.
It wasn't a huge dramatic thing, but
Well, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I wouldn't expect it
but
to
I
be
don't even
devastating.
I don't even like little off the
No,
beams.
I like to stay in love and peace
I do
all the
too.
time.
I want to stay in alignment.
So I have as well. If
Yeah.
so, describe the most recent time this occurred and how a shift in perception might have changed the outcome. How I reacted in a way, I'll go first this time.
Okay.
How I reacted in a way that didn't align with the best version of myself. I have a tendency sometimes to get disappointed when I have expectations of others that go unmet. And what I mean by that is I don't perceive that my expectations are super high. I just expect maybe somebody else to recognize what's going on with me. Sometimes that's not really fair, because it's like, you want them to have ESP or something like that.
Right, yeah,
And
mind reading.
recently I was late and I was rushing, and there was somebody here and I was trying to get out of my house, and they kind of gave me like a look and a sort of a snarky kind of a like, whoa, like, you're being very dramatic how quickly you're moving around the house trying to get out of here.
Oh, brother.
And they didn't say that, but I
Right.
could feel that energy.
Yeah, sure.
And my reaction to them was
Kind of a vibe, right?
And I tried to explain it. I said, hey, listen, I'm sorry. It takes a lot to get out of here. I've got these 2 dogs. I got to get one of them's having cancer treatment.
Right.
I got to get her in the car. If I don't get her in the car quick enough and I don't get them for their walk, I won't get back enough to record the podcast. I'm just running really late and I want to get out of here. So I was explaining myself, and in retrospect, I don't really like that I had to explain myself,
Right.
and I don't
Sure.
really like that I was a little bit disappointed and angry and frustrated in that moment.
Right.
Because I would, if I'm in a rush to get out of the house, I would much rather say it at the outset to the person, like, hey, excuse me if it looks like I'm going to be like crazy rushing, but I feel like if I don't do this now, these dogs aren't going to get a walk.
Right.
So sorry if I'm just going to be like crazy.
Right.
And then if they react that way, it doesn't have to affect me. Just
Sure.
like this page was talking about.
Sure.
It doesn't have to affect me because I've made up my mind to have this emotional landscape of peace and calmness,
Right.
even though I need to move pretty quickly.
Right.
If I want to get this done.
Yeah.
The other option is just don't take the dogs for a walk if you don't have the time. That sometimes is an option too.
That's kind of a bummer, though,
It
for
is
the
kind of a
dogs.
bummer, yeah. So that's
Kona would not be stoked on that.
no, Kona
On-
and
on
Wendy likes
choice
it too,
B.
Yeah. And it also says that that described the most recent time this occurred, which I just did, and how a shift in my perception might have changed the outcome. And that's really the shift that I would like to see for myself, is to become a little more cognizant that when I'm rushing and I'm by myself, it doesn't really affect anybody else.
Right.
But if I rush and I walk really quickly by somebody else,
Sure.
maybe I even brush them or something like
Right,
that
right.
with my arm,
Yeah.
that it's a bit insensitive.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be insensitive. I want to be kind and loving
That's awesome.
towards myself and everyone
Sure,
else.
yeah.
So that's my most recent experience. What
Wow,
about you?
that's a pretty minor glitch.
It is, but it's still,
No, I understand. It can be.
there's always an opportunity to improve.
Sure, sure.
And what do you got?
Mine, I don't remember exactly, but I'm an intelligent dude. I'm well read, but for some reason, I don't know if it's ADD or what it is. I'm not good at computers. I'm not good at cell phones. That left brain, my right brain is great. My left brain, it's like it's asleep or something. It went into a coma. I mean, it's not that bad, but I get very frustrated when I can't get the technical stuff to work. And like James will say something simple, like we're going through a huge learning curve with this podcast, and it's exciting and it's fun, but sometimes there's little challenges and I get frustrated, and then I get mad at myself, that's not kind and loving. And my inner child, little Robbie, it's like, that's not cool to be mean to him.
No, and frustration.
He didn't do anything wrong. Right. Yeah. So times like that, I can be, and I recognize it as impatience. And that's something for me to work on. Yeah. And that's not a huge thing either. But I just like James shared, I like to be in a good, loving zone. I really love it. I love serenity. To me, serenity is like gold.
It is. And, you know, I recognize, and I know that thing about technology for you. I know that's one of your little chinks in the armor or whatever.
Right, definitely.
And I think
it's not so little. It's kind of a big chink.
And recently we were talking about, like, be careful what we say out loud because
right,
our mind
sure.
is listening.
Yeah, yeah.
And if we say, I'm bad at technology,
right.
or even if we say, I get frustrated with technology, our mind is listening to that and saying, okay, I'll continue to be frustrated with technology.
Right.
But the reality is what it comes down to, I believe, and this is just my perception, is that anytime I say I'm bad at something or frustrated with something, what it simply means is I haven't had enough experience.
Right, sure.
Before I learned how to play guitar, I was frustrated when I picked up the guitar.
Right, exactly. You got to start somewhere.
And I've tried to help some people play guitar, and some of them are successful, and some people get very frustrated.
Yeah.
So if I know I'm going to be using computers or phones or playing guitar or having to do something on a podcast, then I have two choices. I can continue to feel paralyzed or frustrated or awkward or uncomfortable with that activity that I know I'm going to be involved in, or I can dedicate some time to overcome that. For me, what I've learned is it takes 3 to 5 times of me doing something repeatedly that I don't know about before it starts to sink in. I may have to do this 2 or 3 more times before it becomes something rote that I absolutely know every time. So if you reframe this like this page is talking about, and you say, how far have you come learning about using an iPhone from when you first got the iPhone?
Right. Progress, not perfection.
Progress, not perfection. If you focus on the wins, the wins multiply.
Yeah.
If you focus on the losses multiply.
Right.
If you focus on the good gets bigger. If you focus on the bad gets bigger.
That's right.
What we focus on grows.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd like to invite everybody to focus on the best in their life, to be as kind as you possibly can to yourself.
Yeah.
To celebrate your personal
It's much more
victories.
fun that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, we've done the page. Unbelievable, right?
Yeah. Wow.
And
victory shout.
Right. And I wanted to tell you about next week's podcast. But before I do that,
I got
perceptual shift.
I got to grab my perceptual shift lenses.
Are you ready?
Yes.
And your perceptual shift guitar.
That's right.
All right, we'll be right back. We're going to grab our
the
stuff.
The instrument of the perceptual
and
shift.
We'll be doing the outro song for you.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay. It's the perceptual outro song. Are you ready to make it happen?
I am all about it.
You going to get your shifties on?
I'm ready to shift, and we start with a shift.
Hold on, let me shift.
That's
gears.
Right. Literally.
And
it's okay to skip a couple of gears and shift
Sometimes
from
you have to.
first to fifth gear.
Sometimes you have to, especially if those other gears are toxic.
That's right.
Okay, let's do this.
Maximum overdrive. We open with a shift and we close with a shift.
And by the way, thanks for hanging out for the entire podcast
right.
and sticking with us during the song.
Yeah.
And before we do this song, what do we got going next week? We're just doing another page from the book, right?
Right.
We don't have a guest next week, but it's going to be amazing. So tune in next week. Remember to hit the subscribe if you want to get notified of the next podcast. The like if you liked it. The follow if you want to follow. You can also hit me up on Instagram and TikTok at James M. Quine. Check out some life hacks.
Life hacks are so awesome.
Yeah. And
it can just change the whole hue of the day.
Exactly. And don't forget Saturday workshop, 3 p.m.
right.
California time, 6 p.m. Eastern time, and then wherever that hits in Hawaii.
Calling all perceptual shifters for Saturday.
Yeah. Actually, I think it'll hit 12 or 1. Right now it's 12 o'clock Saturday time.
I'm going to be there.
Okay. I'll be there too.
And I'll bring my savoir-faire.
Yeah. Oh, and if you don't have the book, it's Amazon.com.
That's right.
And we have the Kindle, which is real
Kindle,
inexpensive.
super cheap.
I know a bunch of people that have the Kindle, or you can get the soft. I like the soft cover because it's easy to open up, versus the hardback book if you want an actual real book. What are you crying about?
A little birdie told me that you're going to possibly have an audiobook coming out.
I do. I'm working on an audiobook right now because a lot of people have asked me for that. So I'm about halfway through.
Awesome.
It might be out by the time you see this podcast.
I love listening to audiobooks, especially if I'm on a plane or I'm just, a long drive or something. Just zone out and get into a perceptual shift.
Yeah. And if you want a signed copy, hit me up in the comments below.
Wonderful.
Or DM me on Instagram or TikTok. Let's make this happen, dude.
Okay. Here we go. Fasten your seatbelts. Now you've heard the Shift Show. Hope you got your mind blown. We'll be back next week with more to say. And if you are a seeker, grab the book, dig deeper. Take what you like and now go out and play. The Perceptual Shift Show. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I was a little off on that last note, but that's okay.
All right.
We made it work.
You want to do another one just in case?
I'm good. Let's call it a quits.
Yeah.
I love my life! Oh, and before you guys leave, I wanted to announce what we're doing next week on our podcast. We'll be reading about perception as it relates to driving decisions that we make in our life. And this is great. I'm going to give you a little bit of a teaser. The question, the first of 2 questions at the end of this page, if you don't have the book, is going to be, do you usually make decisions from a place of fear and scarcity or from trust and abundance? So think about that.
Wow.
Until we get to next week's show. And if you have the book, go ahead and do some writing. Oh, and by the way, I'd love to hear your comments. Comment below if you have the book, if you like the show, if you want to see something different on the show. We're open. We're just creating this right now.
Right.
Co-creating it, I should say, with the universe. There we go.
That deserves a dollar.
Yes. So if you don't have the book and you want it, again, you can buy it on Amazon.com, the Kindle or the book. You can also comment or DM me on Instagram or TikTok, James M. Quine, M like Michael, Quine, and let me know you want a copy, and I'll get a signed copy to you. You can like, follow, or subscribe to the show if you want to get notifications for the next podcast. We do it every week. And also, last reminder, I promise, Saturday workshop every Saturday. Both Robbie and I will be there.
Yep.
On Zoom, going through the book. 1, maybe 2 pages at a time.
Yeah, it's slow and steady at that meeting
If
too.
you want to join us, you're welcome to join us. The ID number for the Zoom meeting will be in the description of this video. It's also going to be available on Instagram and TikTok on my personal accounts. And then if you want the password, you need to DM me and I'll get it to you. But 3 p.m. California time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And then right now, as we're recording this, it's actually noon Hawaii time, but that'll shift.
Right.
It'll either be noon
Perceptually
or 1 p.m.
shift?
It'll perceptually shift just by an hour.
And the life hacks people, James is always doing life hacks every day, and they're fantastic. They're
Not every day, but every few days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just little bolts of
Little gems that you can take with you. You can save those life hacks and you can use them.
Very practical. They will
Yeah.
save your bacon. Trust me. They're so good.
Yes, and you'll hear them if you're on my Instagram or TikTok and you see my life hacks and you're watching this podcast, you'll know when we talk about pausing when agitated, you'll know that that's probably a life hack in there.
Right.
You'll like relate to it. So anyway, thank you again for joining us for the show. We really, really appreciate you being here. We love you. We love everybody. And we want you to have a great life and love your life because I love my life! The Perceptual Shift Show. Whoa, whoa, whoa.